Hello, hello! My name is Callista, and welcome back to Pillars of Eternity. In the last episode, we cleared out Radric's hold, or at least I think I did. I'm pretty sure I did. I may have accidentally missed the vault. I'm not entirely sure. However, we can go back. If it turns out I missed something obvious, I can always go back and loot them at a later time. Now, first things first, Durance, buddy.
What?
Durance, I want to have a chat. Thought I felt your eyes on me. Now come the words. Wait a minute, that's my voice. I had questions I wanted to ask you.
If doubts and curiosity plague you, you're skidding your knuckles on the wrong door.
Okay. I wanted to ask more about the region and its history. Durance grunts. Can you tell me about the Hollowborn?
That's a curse that runs deeper. It's a god hammer of a different sort. And like the god hammer, it was made by men's hands.
All things have a price. Left unchecked, faithlessness, virtues. It leaves marks on souls, until souls don't have the strength to enter bodies that are pure. Animancers, ciphers, all who play games with the fabrics of souls are to blame for the barren field they left behind. Durance glares at you. Even watchers can do the same. Some simply watch. Others try to weave souls, guide them as surely as Wade went across Evandur. He turns away. Why do I think you mean when you say correct, are you literally just going up to babies and beating the shit out of them with your staff? Like, is that what you're admitting to here? He turns away. That is why I correct the Hollowborn when I find them, and the ones whose hands have led to this seed being spilled on the ground. Correct the Hollowborn.
There are fewer souls. There are more vessels. It is simply equaling of the process.
Yeah, he's just straight up admitting to killing the kids. This is... I mentioned this a couple of episodes ago. I don't know how I feel on this. I don't know how I feel personally on this issue, because I'm... If someone, like, I would say I am pro-choice in all aspects. Like, when it comes to abortion, I think it's the mother's choice. Like, or the, maybe not mother, but like the person carrying the child. Like, if you want to get an abortion, I don't think there is any shame in that, for whatever reason. For whatever reason. Like, I don't care if it's a viable pregnancy, non-viable pregnancy. Like, if you just don't want to carry this pregnancy to term and you want to get an abortion, I support that wholeheartedly. And when it comes to euthanasia, if it's a case of like, okay, there is no way this person can be saved, do you want to turn off the ventilator? And you make the decision, yeah, I want to turn off the ventilator. I don't think that is murder. I don't think that is murder. When it comes to, you know, oh, I have a terminal illness and I don't want to live, I am making the choice to, you know, to take myself out. Again, I support that. You deserve the ability to choose. And if you are in a case where it's like, hey, I'm dying, I would rather die by my own hand. I would rather have a doctor, you know, give me a shot of something and I die with dignity. Rather than a long, drawn-out battle where I no longer resemble myself at the end. Again, I support that. I support that wholeheartedly. I feel, on one hand, I feel... I think it's because... the Hollowborn are effectively comatose. And again, if you have someone in a coma and it's like they're never going to wake up, do we turn off the ventilator? and you make the decision, yeah, I want to turn off the ventilator, I support that. I support that decision. I don't think that's murder. Because they're never going to wake up. They're never going to wake up. There is nothing that can be done to save them. They are in a vegetative state. They can't control their breathing. The only thing keeping them alive is that ventilator. I don't think that's murder. So therefore, shouldn't I also think killing Hollowborn isn't murder? But it's like they're controlling their breathing. There is brain function there. So therefore, it's not murder. No, it is murder. I'm getting confused. I should mention I'm quite tired. I have not slept for over 24 hours. And as such, I don't know if I'm making any sense right now, but I wanted to play this and I can't sleep, therefore I'm going to. Yeah, the babies don't need a ventilator to breathe. Therefore, that is murder. But at the same time, they're not really living. They're just sort of existing. By that logic, it wouldn't be murder. It's complex. It's a really complex situation, and we're relying on magic. We're effectively relying on magic to, one day, like, oh, maybe we'll get some kind of, maybe we'll be able to make them better. Like, we're hoping that magic will be able to fix this. Like, I don't know how I feel. I really don't know how I feel on this. And as such, I'm like, if I'm confused about how I feel, I have no clue how Ximena feels. I have no clue whatsoever. This is... I feel like I should have a response here. He said something that's pretty fucked up. I feel like Ximena should respond, rather than just being like, oh, let me change the topic. Let's ask about something else. Da 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 da. I mean, they're literal babies. They're literal babies. I do think this isn't something that Ximena has dealt with. If my understanding is correct, this is a plague that is pretty much localized to this area. This isn't a global phenomenon. This is all centered in this one area. I think if this was something that Ximena had been dealing with for years, then she might be a bit more hardened to it. I do think, again, when, oh god, what's her face? What's her face? Darren's mam. I think Ximena was really touched by Darren's mam, and I've forgotten her name. Yeah, I'm not gonna think of it. It's not gonna come to me, I know that. But yeah, Darren's mam, and seeing her there, with the hollow-born baby in the crib. I'm pretty sure that was the first hollow-born we had seen. Ximena will have been around babies. She knows how babies act. And to just see one lying there, listless, but it's alive, it's breathing, but it's not acting like how a baby should, that would freak her out. That would have freaked her out. And I think the idea of going up to something in a crib that can't defend itself, just going up to something and bashing it, I think that would horrify her. I do think that would horrify her. That's murder.
I feel more remorse in putting down a slathering hound A wict? Less than a mongrel in its misery. Murder is a kindness, not a crime. Always has been. I would sooner put the blade to those who are to blame instead. If any spirit should be punished, it's theirs.
And who's to blame? The fields of Deerwood are filled with weakness, ripe for those that play with souls, minds. His face wrinkles in a frown. Animancers and their kind, watchers too. They bear more of the burden than their victims, and more of the punishment. Every year has seen a new crime. The Saints' War, the Hollowborn, and the Salvation. There is no proof watchers are to blame for these events. There are few who can shape a soul in such a fashion. Durance stares at you. And any watcher, any true watcher born in the Deerwood, would be able to see the crime even if they did not cause it. Silence itself is damning. Why don't you end me then?
Murder you? I would not grant you any of them. The mercy I grant the Hollowborn. You would not be deserving of it.
Mate, you've literally just contradicted yourself. Am I so tired that I literally 2 minutes ago, I swear down, 2 minutes ago, you were like, oh, I'd rather kill the ones responsible. Watchers are the ones responsible. Oh, I wouldn't consider killing a watcher. Am I so tired that I've misremembered this, that I've misunderstood? But I swear down that's how it happened. Oh, I murder the Hollowborn. Oh, why would you do this? Oh, well, I'd rather kill the ones responsible. Watchers are the ones responsible. I wouldn't kill a watcher. Mate, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? You'd equate murder with mercy.
Murder is an old word. Mercy is letting a soul fly free to the next body. True punishment? Ruining someone to their soul. Crack their spirit like you would crack their skulls with a staff. Beat them. Hurt them in mind and body. So their souls become shards. But you leave it inside the vessel like a bag of glass to either choke on it or pass it through their bloody stool. Then, leave it in the body to think on it, like planting a new field with the right seed.
That sounds like you've committed it to memory.
Many marks may I make upon your flesh, but flame leaves marks that cannot heal. Magran doctrine dictates true punishment is one that remains in memory, in the soul, in the flesh. Even should the victims die, slowly or swift, sometimes by their own hand afterwards, the lesson lingers, burned in their flesh.
That seems harsh. There is a certain justice in that. No, this is just. I think Ximena is just looking at Durance like, this is fucked up. This is fucked up. Ooh. Actually, you know what? I can go and read this. Yeah, I would sooner put the blade to those who are to blame instead. I guess he's saying I would rather torture those responsible. I don't want to kill them, I just want to torture them. Yeah, I think Ximena has killed people. We've seen her kill people on this journey. I think if you were to say, oh, has Ximena murdered anyone? I don't think she has. I don't think she's murdered anyone. People who attack her first, yes. People that she's gotten into a consensual fight with, yes. Murdering someone in their beds? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. And this idea of like, oh yeah, we're gonna torture people, we're gonna, like, as I said, Ximena isn't a particularly violent person. Occasionally, if she feels like, oh, that's abhorrent, that's wrong, you know, I feel personally insulted by this, then yeah, she'll fight someone, but like the idea of like leaving someone alive, torturing them, and then leaving them, well, that'd just be dodgy because they can come after you and they can take you out. Like, no, that's dumb. This just seems fucked up in Ximena's opinion, I think. That seems harsh.
Have you seen a man branded by flame? He remembers it always, in every waking movement. It is a lesson writ in the only ink and vellum that matters. Blood and flesh. One can burn the soul as well. It is an art, and I do not take pleasure in it. But there is more at stake here than forgiveness. Many of Aethys's faith were punished in the purges following the Saints' War. And the ones that harmed children, they suffered worse.
What do you mean?
We did what must be done. Wherever they were rooted out, their souls reclaimed. And if they couldn't be reclaimed, we ensured they would never inhabit another body.
Gee, dude. You've been up to some fucked up shit, Durance. I wanted to ask about the region and its history. Yeah. Do you think there's any tie between the Hollowborn and the Godhammer?
Aethys was the god of rebirth, and his light does not fall on the Deerwood. I've heard some claim it's his doing, his death. It's closed the halls to new souls. I doubt it. The Hollowborn have their roots in the acts of men, women. I feel it.
I wanted to ask more about the region. Do you know anything of the Deerwood and the surrounding nations? Deerwood's the best of them, still has spirit, if a land can have one. It's a place where a man can walk freely, even make new roads, and that's a rare thing in this world. Its generations, however, are damned, so no new footfalls may spell an end to it. Do you mean the Hollowborn? Yes. Aethys's last stab at revenge after he was ended. Durance frowns. Aethys was the god of rebirth, and his light does not fall on the Deerwood. I've heard some claim it's his doing. His death. It's closed the halls to new souls. He scoffs. I don't believe it. The problem is closer than that. And as always, it involves men and women. And they are always circling, within and without, the Valian Republics, Red Ceres, the Saints' War. One big bladed spiral, shredding everything around it. How do you feel about the Valian Republics? Durance snorts. Fortune seekers garbed in robes of office. Manipulators, traders and traitors all. Oh. This is a little more forceful than Ximena tends to go. She does love her home, but she's not. I just don't see her jumping to this level of aggression so quickly. I'm from the Republic. Is that the problem? Couldn't stand to remain? Don't blame you. He glares at you with a half smile, which fades. You look more humble than most. Any country so obsessed with style might as well be wearing scarves over their eyes. You think the Republics mean to harm the Take two. My ability to read is slowly decreasing, but I want to play. You think the Republics mean the Deerwood harm? The Deerwood had best be vigilant, or they'll turn them into slaves as soon as ink dries on the trade treaty. The Deerwood and all its internal riches is too tempting. Durance's voice drops, especially if someone else tames the country and the face painters for them. The face painters? Durance waves his hand dismissively. Tribes, land flatlands, cluster around the ruins like flies. What about the Red Ceres? Durance's face flushes, and a sheen of sweat forms on his brow. Too many adjectives to that so-called nation. Civil unrest, economic collapse, all tinder, just needing the right spark. Some farmer shows up, takes a god into himself, then takes a crown on his head. This divine kingdom he tries to set up goes about as well as you'd expect. A trickle of sweat runs down the side of Durance's cheek and sinks into his beard. Suddenly, the population of heretics goes up by about half and again, and Aethys starts turning his blood-stained gaze to every blasphemer he can find. Cleaning house is one way to put it. His face darkens and his eyes narrow. Purge is another. Put them and their god in their place, though, with enough force to kill that damned country too. Not a supporter of the country of Red Ceres. Aloth passes by casually, muttering under his breath. Surely you know where this is going by now. It's not a country. It's a gathering of cowards, Aedir puppets. They used to be an optimistic bunch, a bright bunch. Durance laughs at bright, as if a private joke. Was their undoing. Should have embraced their misery without letting a farmer lead them to a brighter ruin. Almost Aethys puppets too. Put an end to that. They dangled on his strings. Widewin dangled on theirs. They would never have had any success on the battlefield had not their god come down. The Saints' War, Durance snarls. Needed to call on their god to have a chance. Tell me about the Saints' War. Durance's eyebrows draw together in a frown, then he grunts. Keep forgetting your feet are new to the Deerwood. The Saints' War.
It wasn't a war. It was a god stepping past himself. The country of Red Ceres and all their heathens. They're paying for it now. Although by my count, the fire should have roared through their country with more force, catching all their souls. Truth, it wasn't even a war. It was a cautionary tale about pride. Specifically, Widewin's pride. He should have stayed a farmer.
What happened? Was, what, 15, 16 years ago? 2807? Durance pauses, then shakes his head and shrugs. My memories are back with a younger me. I don't hold on to dates. I hold on to actions and causes. The war was an act of arrogance, born straight from Red Ceres' twitching legs. A man thinking himself more than a man. Durance snorts. Want to kill someone? Tell him a god speaks through him. Then tell him he means him to lead, which puts him at the front of any army. And the army was as strong as you'd expect for Red Ceres, as sick as that country was to begin with. Yet a war was likely just what they needed. What was wrong with the country? Red Ceres has its share of troubles. It deserves all of them. It deserved Widewin. He was the light that led them to flame. Red Ceres was in decline. Aedir poison already eating its veins. Economic bleeding, the dying of their faith. Durance frowns. Then Widewin, this farmer, claims to take up Aethys in the flesh, and gives them the worst kind of hope. What happened then? They crown him. Durance taps his head, making a slight bow, and when his face turns back to you, he's wearing a feral smile. They make him king, the worst kind of blasphemy. And once he wears the crown on his head and the god in his flesh, why, he starts making changes. Divine changes. Durance's eyes blaze. Then he decides he's going to change us. Save us. How? He marches on the Deerwood to free us. To free us from our beliefs, like he freed the other souls in Red Ceres. Cold Morn offers up its belly with no resistance, and it's spared, Durance snarls. The bloodshed starts when he sacks Mercy's veil. A touch of irony that puts it to the flame. Cold Morn? Durance spits and snarls. Cowards, and Cold Morn is an apt name for them. They lay still, frozen, while their fellows burned. They'll pay Magran's price one day for such cowardice. What did Aethys do next? Aethys keeps marching. Deerwood takes to the trees, cutting at his flanks, his scouts, his troops. It seemed near hopeless. Durance's face becomes grim, then smiles slightly, until Helget's citadel, the Godhammer. There we put him to the flame, burned the god out of him, if there ever was one to begin with. Dozen brave men and women take to the bridge, make a stand. Then we torched him there, with the fire of the Godhammer. We know that the Godhammer was a bomb. I want to know more. We already know what this is, but maybe Ximena, she's intrigued by the story, so she's asking, the next natural question. What is the Godhammer?
Gods have taken flesh, in all respects, taking willing and unwilling vessels. It's not a violation. It's what gods do, as long as they accept all that comes with it. Men are weak. Gods? Well, we showed old Widewen that he was flesh and blood, no matter how much light was pouring out of his farmer's hands. Took men of faith to build a weapon, a Godhammer. Judgment. Proved him dead at Helget's citadel.
It was a weapon of Deerwood's people, their independence. There are few that would deny that Aethys overstepped. The Godhammer reminded Aethys of this. A fire and force so terrifying, so bright, it burned a god away. Durance holds his staff, and his hands lock around it, tracing the etchings. As you watch, the top of the staff blossoms, burns brightly, and Durance speaks, his face illuminated in the fire. A weapon that would burn brighter than Aethys. And we led him to it, and burned him at the stake. The stake was the Godhammer, and we impaled him on it. You said you fashioned it? Durance nods. Wasn't easy, shaping it, crafting it. The pieces, the curve of the relic. Even then it was a massive thing, something that required a god to come to it rather than be cast at him. Though luring him to it, that was the easy part. Gods are prideful. What happened? We led him to the fields, ones that he remembered as a farmer perhaps. The fields right outside Helget's citadel. Durance frowns. Now Godhammer citadel. It was right across the Dua bridge. An easy trek. Durance frowns. Men died. Then more died luring Aethys onto Dua. We had carved veins and paths across the bridge, excavated the foundations, filled them with powder and ember-hungry grains, eager to burn. Our hands had even pried the mortar and rock loose, sharpening them to points so they might be rent from their foundations easier, and tear through the flesh of that pretender. And so you used Dur against Aethys?
We poured the Godhammer into its foundations with faith, set it alight, let the hammer fall upwards onto the anvil. 8 died before the Godhammer fell, and the Godhammer claimed the remainder, 12 in all.
And Aethys went back into the ether, or the grave. Durance grunts. He's lost his voice and his love of war, I'll tell you that much. He sneers. It took only taunts by men, and that was enough to lure him across the bridge and right into the new sun. Durance straightens his back, draws a deep breath. It led Red Sarah see how bright their arrogance had become, and became a symbol by which we answered their purge with one of our own. Purges.
We started saving the Aothasians from themselves, burning any that didn't die with their god. Heresy in Red Ceres is one thing. Heresy here in the Deerwood comes with a more personal touch.
Seems just. A wounded enemy is still dangerous, so you just answered their crime with one of your own. If you fight an enemy long enough, you become one of them. Why the purges? This seems like the kind of thing where you can't just pick, like, one after the other. I think we're going to be locked out of the others. Here's the thing. A wounded enemy is still dangerous. Ximena does see the logic behind that. However, the Aothasians weren't the problem. The Aethasians weren't the problem. They were just living their lives. It's between these two. I mean, if you fight an enemy long enough, you become them. Both of these, they both seem preachy in their own way. Because here's the thing, Ximena absolutely believes in revenge. She absolutely believes in revenge. So for her to have a go at like, oh, you committed revenge. Ignore all the times I've committed revenge. At the same time, this seems a little... Do I see Ximena being a particularly philosophical person? I mean, I guess everyone in their own way is philosophical to some degree. Yeah, I think as an outsider, she would have a very good perspective on like, okay, so they came and did this to you, and then you went and did the exact same thing. Yeah, if you fight an enemy long enough, you become them.
As I see it, every Aethasian who still lives in the Deerwood puts the nation at risk, is another dagger held to the throat of our faith. Root them out, burn them, or send them back to Red Ceres to wallow in the blood of their failure.
Let's keep moving. Okay, well, I kind of expected to ask a few questions and then for Durance to kick us out of the conversation because that's what he's always done. But no, Durance was in a chatty mood today. He was in a very chatty mood. So, yeah, we will leave this episode right here. In the next one, we will head back to Cadnua. But until then, please remember to like if you enjoyed, leave a comment below, and if you wanted to subscribe, it would be very much appreciated. A special thanks to my channel members, such as SM2K, Christopher K. Davis, CGG, and Kevin Bicknell. I've been Callista. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next episode.